that may or may not have a design department. Approach 2 is that you rely for graphic design on your tried and tested in-house designers or design agency. We are very intimately aware of the visceral effect of design and how much brand and design matter to design teams and agencies of so many of the larger organizations that we work with. Outsourcing design to a new company for what may be a large communication opportunity for your organization may not be the road that you want to travel at this particular time. And that's perfectly fine. In such situations, Sardius provides your design team with the different wireframe templates and options and previous examples of event layouts and user experiences that have been successful in our experience, and invite your design team to dream about what your brand would look like in the most optimal situation, often creating a flat design that then our team brings to life. The third approach is a more modular approach for perhaps more budget-minded clients. For those more conscious of time and budget, there are also more modular approaches that we can offer in this situation, giving you dimensions of some of the design elements that are needed to be populated for an event. In this case, it will still feel like you customized, as you will be responsible for colors, images, and design elements. However, it is a stripped-down approach. A list of design elements that you need to provide will be given to you by your event manager. Regardless of how the user interface is created, there are many design type elements that you will need to provide to our project management team that will be used to build the event out, and your event manager will provide you with that list. Coupled with an excellently designed user interface which effectively communicates your brand is the schedule and structure of the event and considerations of when to present certain components of the event. Now, we take the approach that an effective online event is not a static web page with a library of video and other information that the attendee gets to navigate through on their own time, although there is a time and a place for this type of experience, and a component of it may even be part of your live event, but rather an effective online event in much the same way as an in-person event is a shared experience of different event sessions that are served to the attendees in real time in much the same way that an in-person event happens. Most events consist of main plenary sessions, breakout seminar tracks, and other type meetings. These sessions form the backbone of the event in terms of content delivery. Therefore, it's important to consider a number of factors in delivering the most optimal experience for your attendees. The run sheet or stage and content order. Before considering anything technical, one of the most important tasks you as the event producer will have to undertake is developing your event run sheet. This will require you to think through your overall event purpose and metrics, what you're trying to achieve in different parts of the event, and how do you want to structure the communications and the content flow of the event to achieve those goals. Now, traditional in-person entertainment will often build towards the best entertainer who is topping the bill, which typically happens last or close to the end of the event. While you might consider this, it may also be helpful to think of your entire event in the same way that you would consider a single presentation. Create a story arc that ultimately underlines your calls to action more effectively or helps you train your audience in sequence. One of the main benefits of online events is the ability to include presenters from around the world in a way that would not be possible if they had to travel to your event at an in-person location. There are a number of effective softwares and simple templates available to help you manage your minute-by-minute run sheet for the event. Just be aware that despite all of your careful planning, many, maybe most, run sheets won't go exactly as planned, especially if you're broadcasting significant portions of your event live. Broadcasting your event live has many exciting and important psychological benefits, of which I love, but predictability isn't one of those benefits. It's important to plan for the unexpected in your run sheet. Allowing for the unpredictable in your online schedule is something that you should be aware of. Sardius gives you the ability to create very complex event schedules ahead of time, which you will need to do. However, if you have the unexpected changes to your schedule at the last minute, you need to ensure that you are hosting your event on a platform that allows you to make last-minute changes, rather than the event being significantly cached on the attendee's machine. Sardius allows you to make those last-minute changes and work them seamlessly into the flow of your event. Now let's turn to the video production of the event. Typically for an in-person and a hybrid event, it's recognized that video production must be of a certain quality level. The same realization is not always recognized with exclusively online events. With the proliferation of video conferencing platforms, video quality often isn't given as much thought until the audience is struggling trying to follow a presenter who has filmed his presentation on his mobile phone with bad video and audio. And when we speak of video production quality, we're speaking of video camera quality, audio quality, lighting quality, background quality, and finally broadcasting quality. Often with online events, the event producer is having to deal with presenters from diverse geographical locations. In the past, may have only been the preserve of outside broadcasts on newscasts of election coverage. Without having to produce full-on TV quality, here are a few suggestions to produce the best quality video for your event and mitigate against some of the inherent risks. Number 1. Obtain a central location to film and broadcast from. Most individuals don't have access to high-quality video production gear. Now, this has changed somewhat in the post-COVID world, and even if you do, it is often wise to have a second set of eyes as a video producer to ensure quality production. If you obtain a central location to shoot the event with a higher quality production level, better equipment and tech personnel, and invite your key presenters to this location, you can limit your exposure to bad video. Secondly, pre-record the segments of your event where you're broadcasting a video conversation. There may be legitimate reasons why you need to broadcast a low latency video connection live. For example, if you require a live feedback interaction with the audience. If you don't, it may be wise to pre-record this segment, which gives you the ability to get better quality video, which could possibly be edited if there are any mistakes or video dropouts. Thirdly, ensure key presenters have better quality video recording and broadcasting equipment. The success of your events may be dependent upon certain key presenters. If they cannot be at the central location, then try and ensure that they have access to better quality video production. This might involve them traveling to a studio close to them, or it may involve providing them with better cameras, lighting, audio, perhaps a backdrop that they can record their presentation independently. Even if it is part of a live video conference conversation, this can be edited for a later simulated live broadcast. Now let's talk about broadcasting and the live or the simulated live question. The subject of whether your event should be broadcast live or pre-recorded and broadcast at a simulated live event is highly connected to the structure of your event. Having bad video can be a make or break for an online event. Therefore, this is a consistent question that the Sardius team discusses with our clients. There are a number of pros and cons to each approach. Let's talk about live. But it is these very limitations that make live events popular. It creates a psychological buzz, it results in bigger audiences, and it creates the ability to create finances through mechanisms like pay-per-view. You only have to look at the audiences for live sporting events to realize that there is a massive benefit in watching live versus the simulated live broadcast several hours later. Now, even outside of the sporting realm, live broadcasts have a certain cachet that results in bigger audiences, and despite the inherent risks involved, which we'll talk about, they give you some opportunities that are not available with simulated live or video on demand. These largely boil down to live audience engagement. And this includes interaction with questions from the audience who are posting in chat or via video conferencing, the ability to poll or to ask your audience questions and get in-the-moment responses. The risks connected to live broadcasting are related to two main factors. The first of these is the unpredictable and complex nature of an event schedule, which can mean a much bigger production budget to ensure that there are no errors in the broadcast. Secondly, the reliability of your broadcast setup, which may include all your video conferencing connections, but it's mainly related to your video streaming encoding solution and your internet connection. While Sardius can and does work with many encoding solutions, there are a few that we recommend depending on the nature of your event. These include Resi, Haivision, Telestream, and a few more that we can talk about. If you're unfamiliar with the world of web streaming, it may be advisable for Sardius to handle the streaming portion of your event. For one-off events, we will typically use Resi as our live streaming partner due to the resilience of their streaming protocol in many event situations. One of the most frustrating possibilities in a live streamed event is the audience having to deal with buffering issues. Mitigating the possibility of buffering is something we advise repeatedly and believe one of the best ways to do this is by using HLS streaming, simulated live. Despite the cachet that's involved in live streaming, this may not be the right way for you to go for a number of reasons. Live broadcasts, if done well, can often cost more in terms of video production and streaming and can cause you a lot of stress due to the inherent risks involved. Some thrive on this risk, others don't. Another approach can be to pre-record your program and then broadcast it as if it's live. This is often called a simulated or sim live broadcast. If you are not interacting live with your audience and there is no difference between what your live broadcast would look like and a broadcast that is pre-recorded, there are a number of benefits. Added to the reduced risk and potentially reduced cost, it also gives you an opportunity to broadcast at times that are convenient for your audience across different times of the day and even different time zones. Simulated live broadcasts also give your presenters an ability to interact in real time with the audience within the chat window, which can actually make an extremely compelling experience. They are presenting by video, but they are responding in real time in chat. Let's talk about copyrights for a moment. It's important in building your event that you have the correct permissions to broadcast the content your schedule dictates to your audience for the duration of the time that you wish to broadcast. This means it's important, if you intend to live broadcast and keep the archive of the session afterwards, that you have the correct permissions of the on-camera individuals. If you're broadcasting music, it's important that you obtain the correct performance and broadcast permissions ahead of time. If you need help navigating this, you can talk with your Sardius event manager who can point you in the right direction. Let's talk about user interface features for a moment. Every organization has internal language, behaviors, assumptions, and personalities. Operating within an organization for an extended period can blind you to such internalized communication. Yet this can be confusing to visitors and new attendees to your event. There are simple methods of presenting information that can provide clarity and context to your event and which can orient your audience to help them quickly understand what is going on and ultimately help them understand you. These components include bios. Who is presenting now? Why should I listen to them? How can I connect with them through social links and other web calls to action? And how does their inclusion in the event add to the overall purpose of the event? Saudis typically recommends you include headshots, bios, and links to your presenters, and we can provide the total list of presenters or pop-out modals, which will change throughout the event as your presenters on stage change. Secondly, the schedule. Providing a clear schedule for the event is a must. We typically do this two ways, with an at-a-glance approach as well as providing an interactive timeline under the main video player, which progresses throughout the event and gives the ability for the audience to see where they are at within the context of the whole event. Calls to action, or CTAs, are highly related to your main purpose and the metrics of success for your event. These should generally be decided ahead of time. You shouldn't overload your audience with CTAs, but they are super helpful in being clear with your audience about what you would like them to do, so don't leave them out. And once they're determined, you can include them in many parts of the event and the event platform, from